The Rams and the Lions, Sunday, 8:15, the Sunday night game. Detroit is a 3-point home favorite. It's going to be loud in Ford Field. First home playoff game since 1994. They finally won a division title. You know, they hadn't won an NFC North title before this. It was the NFC Central last time the Lions won the division.
93, right?
Yep,
93?
last time the Lions won the division, the NFC Central. So they're finally NFC North champions. And coming into this one, I really think Jared Goff is the X factor here because the Rams are going to score. The Lions defense has not been good over the past few weeks. They've given up, I have the notes right here, like 200 something to CD. Jefferson went for like $140, $190 in the two games. They've been getting torched by number one receivers, and Cooper Kupp and Puka are a big threat. So that Lions offense now, great offensive line, great running back duo. You got weapons. We'll see if Laporta plays. It all comes down to Goff. Is he ready for this moment? And I think he's going to be. Because everybody's talking about Matthew Stafford going back to Detroit. Matthew Stafford's going back to the place that drafted him. He's going to get revenge, even though there's no revenge to get. Jared Goff's the guy who's going and getting revenge. He's the one that the Rams gave up on to go and get Matthew Stafford. He's the one that was sent over to the island of misfit toys in the NFL in Detroit, cast away to rot his career away there. If anyone has a gripe in this game, it's Jared Goff with something to prove. Matthew Stafford, I told Jack in the car right here, he's a fat cat. He won the Super Bowl. He's living in sunny LA. He's got all these fancy weapons. He's got Sean McVay. He's fine. Jared Goff, even though he says, this is more than just me, you know that this means something to him, and it means something to the city of Detroit for him to get this win here because they saw their golden boy go off and win with this team. And I think Goff's going to show up in this game. I want to take the Rams. My gut is saying go with the Rams, but I really think Goff has something to prove and is going to do it.
I think Detroit was going to 30 points.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think they blow them
You
out.
talk about how much this means to the city of Detroit, right? Like, this is the most expensive wild card game in NFL history. To give you an idea of how much more expensive it is to get in this game, Chiefs-Dolphins should be a pretty good game, right? And the Chiefs in Arrowhead care a lot about the game. Average ticket price there is $286. Average ticket price to this game, $801.
Wow.
800?
The cheapest ticket, I just pulled it up on my phone right now. The cheapest ticket to get into this game, one person, $600.
I mean, this doesn't happen. It's like there are 30-year-old men who have never had the opportunity to go to this.
To see the Lions in the playoffs.
To see this. At home.
I mean, this is the first playoff game at Ford Field, right?
Think about us. We're all about 25 years old.
I've probably been to like 10 Steelers playoff games already.
Like, I've been to a Viking home playoff game. They play in Minnesota. I live in New Jersey. If I had 25 years, there are people who, like, if the Vikings hadn't made the playoffs my entire life and they hosted a game, I'd be on the first plane out. Like, that is must see if you're a huge Lions
and you'd
fan.
pay whatever it costs too.
And on top of that, like the Stafford narrative is fun. Have you guys seen, by the way, have you guys seen any of the, I think a lot of Lions fans are posting on Twitter not to wear Stafford jerseys. They got in a little spat with Stafford's wife. But there's one bar, what is it here?
Oh, Bailey's. Is Bailey's in the city?
There's also, there's Thomas McGee's in Detroit. They put out a post and said, PSA, please refrain from trying to enter Thomas McGee's on game day with Lions Stafford jerseys. You'll be turned away at the door. It's our first home game in 30 years. Use some common sense. Regards,
amazing.
Ownership. I love that.
That's great.
That is fantastic.
No, that's like that. Yeah, that's if Big Ben returned to Heinz Field after
winning the Super Bowl with
I wouldn't want Big Ben.
the Bills.
Jerseys. No, that's amazing. I'll be also in a Lions bar in Manhattan watching the Lions.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, so I'm excited for that. The script writers here did a great job with these
Phenomenal.
playoffs. I mean, Tyreek Hill against Kansas City. McCarthy against the Packers. This Lions-Rams game. Just a fantastic job. But I think Detroit comes out here at night in front of their home fans, and every single player on that team plays their ass off for their quarterback. I think he has a phenomenal game with a lot to prove, like you said, a huge chip on his shoulder because he was the one kicked to the curb. It was not Matthew Stafford. The whole world's talking about Matthew Stafford playing against Detroit, and that's the whole entire storyline. Well, what about me? I'm at home. This is my home fans.
He got the home playoff game.
Yeah, we're the number 3 seed. I think Detroit comes out there and kicks their ass on Sunday night.
I'm very excited to see what Ziggy has to say about this because you have been as pro Rams as anyone I've seen all year, and you've been right. You've been right on them. Where do you come down?
The Rams offense, I think, is going to have a great game. Basically everyone's healthy. They'll be bringing out Stafford and Kupp and Puka and Kyron and even like Higbee. I'm assuming Higbee's going to be healthy and they just held him out from the game to make sure he's 100%. Like that's what we're dealing with here. The Rams offense is going to be pretty good. And I think they're going to put up a fair amount of points on a somewhat vulnerable Lions defense. Sometimes they make big plays. Sometimes they don't. They've been vulnerable against big plays in the past. But the question I have for the Rams is how they are going to stop the Lions offense. Their pass rush is one of the worst in the entire NFL. Aaron Donald, still an elite player, still one of the best in the NFL. Secondary, still okay. But the Rams are 26th in sack percentage. They're the dead last in the NFL for the average depth of target quarterbacks are throwing against them. So guys have time. Meanwhile, you've got Ben Johnson and Jared Goff. Jared Goff has been one of the best in the NFL at avoiding sacks. Gibbs and Montgomery both are highly efficient runners that force defenses to respect them. You've got Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamar Gibbs. Hopefully Sam Laporta can play. Hopefully Khalif Raymond can play. But this Lions offense is just efficient. And if you're not constantly getting to Jared Goff and forcing him to make mistakes, he will sit back. He will pick you apart. Guys will get plenty of yards after the catch. And it's very difficult to stop. So I think even though the Rams offense should do pretty well against the Lions, I don't see how they're going to have any answers for Ben Johnson and the Lions. So as you say, it's Jared Goff's moment, and I think he's going to shine.
Wow. Okay. I really thought you were going to go with the Rams in that one.
I think the Rams are going to keep it close, and I think their offense is very good. I see how they could win, but you have a defense that's massively overperformed, right? That's just true. The Lions are much more physical on both sides of the ball. I get that Lions fans have been angry, but Aiden Hutchinson has done very well at generating pressures, even if he hasn't gotten a lot of sacks. Obviously, the Lions' offensive line has been very strong. They're going to bully whoever the Rams are sending. I just don't see how you can beat Detroit here.
They're going to be so damn fired up, too. The Rams just won a Super Bowl. Stafford won a Super Bowl. They have not played a home playoff game in 3 decades. Now they get a chance to beat probably the best player in Lions history on their home field.
Or at least best quarterback, but
yeah, best quarterback. Right.
Real quick, because there are going to be a lot of Rams fans who are, depending on how many Rams fans watch this, but if a lot of Rams fans watch this, they would come and say, you know what? Matthew Stafford, when he's played, has won 6 of his last 7 games. We're the only team to go into Baltimore and really challenge them of the contenders this season. 37-31 overtime loss. In the past 8, they're averaging 28 points per game, 385 yards on offense. This Rams team has been really good to close the year, as good as almost anyone in the NFL. So it would be a mistake to, we're getting caught up a little bit in the hype around this Lions game. The Rams and Stafford are going to show up. This is going to be a dogfight. I don't think the Lions roll over Los Angeles here. And those numbers before about the secondary, 411, 345, 396 the past 3 weeks. That was 2 of those games was Nick Mullins playing quarterback. Matthew Stafford could have a field day. I can see this being a situation where it's close and Stafford gets the ball late and does what he does and wins it. I don't think just because it's going to be insanely hyped there, it means the Lions are going to steal. This Rams team is really good.
They're probably the best wild card team in the playoff field. If I had to pick a best, both NFC and AFC, I believe a small part of Matthew Stafford that wants the Lions to win this game. So another reason I'm picking the Lions there.
Okay, Ziggy, go ahead. Final game picks.
Yeah, I'll say this: the Rams need a huge performance from Kobe Turner, right? Rookie interior defensive tackle, 9 sacks on the season. He's led I think all rookies in sacks. He's had an incredible season. No one's had as many sacks since Aaron Donald and Ndamukong Suh. So I don't want to make it sound like this Rams defense doesn't have any talent. But you talk about the overarching mood, and I think these kinds of things really do matter. And it feels, even though they're saying otherwise, the Rams feel like they need motivation, right? As you say, they're kind of happy to be here. They've overperformed. Everything's good. The Lions think it's their time. They are ready to play. And this, I honestly think Ford Field might be the hardest environment in the playoff that you're going to see this year.
Could be.
Except maybe Baltimore will be harder. But it's so hard how the Rams have done. It's just so hard for me to see them going into Detroit and winning, which sounds crazy to say. But I don't know. I guess we'll see.
Is there any quarterback in the NFC that you trust more than Matthew Stafford right now to win a big road game?
To go on the road against his old team? No, it would be Stafford.
Like no. I'm saying like out of all the quarterbacks in the NFC right now,
in general,
I think I have more confidence in Matthew Stafford being able to pull off a win like this versus anybody.
Yeah, a veteran who's won a Super Bowl.
Purdy. Purdy has his moments where he's just horrible.
Hurts has been weird.
Hurts has been weird. Dak, sometimes chokes in these games. Oh my gosh, am I talking myself into the Rams on air?
Maybe. It'd be foolish, but maybe.
I will say this. Here's something. I think the Lions will win this game, but I think there is only one true dark horse Super Bowl contender in the NFL. A team that's sort of being discounted, but if everything goes right, could compete with anyone. And it is the Rams.
He wants the Steelers over here.
Well, the Steelers aren't anyone's dark horse.
Okay, so let's do official game picks now.
We're just a contender.
Ziggy, you just said the Lions are your pick?
I'm taking the Lions. I got to do
Detroit
it.
big?
I Detroit by double digits, yeah.
I think it's going to be super hype there. I think Matthew Stafford's going to silence them. I got the Rams going on the road and winning this game now. Do you see how I started off there as a huge line?
That's foolish.
It might be.
That's foolish.
It might be. I think it's going to be an unbelievable game. This might be. Oof. This might be the game I'm most looking forward to watching.
I'm saying 31-17 Lions.
I will say this much. I know that it's not the same old Lions, but you cannot call Paul a fool for predicting the Lions letting down their fans. You just can't.
Hey, you know what? We have Lions fans who listen to this show. We have our friends. We had Tom Monroe, who's from Detroit. No, not from Detroit. I'm mixing things up here. We have Tom. Wait, Tom's from Michigan, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, they're just not.
I never asked him.
Oh God, Tom's gonna listen to this and be like, "How the hell do you not know?" I don't know where Tom's from in Michigan. I think he's from Detroit. But we have
where he's from.
We have Alex, your friend.
Yeah,
Tom.
I'll be hammered.
I hope for those guys. I hope they get the win. I'm rooting. Oh my gosh, I'm rooting for another NFC North rival, but for 1 week, I'll
be hammered in a Lions bar in Midtown Manhattan with an Amon-Ra St. Brown jersey, rooting hard for the Detroit Lions in this game. So they'll win this game.